and welcome back to a special episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. It's special because it's a Saturday. I don't normally do Saturday videos, but we passed 1,000 subscribers week before. Week before that, I'm not sure. It's relatively recently though. Last I checked, we are actually about to hit 1,200. I think. I mean, it's just I'm sure 1,000 in 3 months isn't record breaking or anything, but it's huge for me. Um, so I decided that I would do something pretty cool for y'all and do an album reaction. Um, I chose this album because it was a little less expensive on the list, being an EP. It only has 5 tracks, and because, aside from one of the tracks, every song has been requested for me to react to. And of course, that album is Jinjer's Micro. Oh, there we go. I don't know how to do this camera work. Jinjer's Micro. There are 5 tracks on it. I've already done Teacher Teacher. I think I did Ape already. So I'm just gonna give some additional thoughts from a second time listen, and then Dreadful Moments and Perennial and Micro will be first time listens. Micro has not been requested yet, so I'm not sure why that is. But we're gonna listen to it. We're gonna find out, and I do want to talk about this week. I've actually had 2 songs blocked. Wednesday, I did a song by Rush called Xanadu, and it was blocked everywhere except Canada and Japan. And then yesterday, I was very excited to react to a song called Of Matter by a band called Tesseract. And I put the video together. I listened to it. It was phenomenal. It's a 15-minute song, I think. And I had a lot to say about it. It was an amazing song. The few people who requested it, huge shout out to you. Um, it ended up being like a 32-minute video. I really wanted to see everybody's reactions and hear the comments about it and see if there's any other songs by Tesseract. And it was blocked worldwide. So I am looking into alternative ways to release those 2 videos, as well as the Maximum the Hormone video from uh, way back when, Japan Week. I don't remember when that was. Might have been back in November, December. Um, I did a Maximum the Hormone song, and it was blocked, and I ended up doing a tiny speed increase on it and blurring the video. And I was gonna say I put that up there unedited, but you know what? I don't think I have that anymore. That was an old video. Dang. Anyways, though, I am looking into alternative places to upload these. 2 blocked videos in a week is not a good sign, and while I know Rush is kind of a huge band, um, I'm sure their record label is very aggressive. I have never heard of Tesseract before. I'm kind of surprised that their record label pushes so hard, but I don't want it to happen again. I mean, that's just 2 weeks or 2 episodes this week that I've put 2 days this week I put a video out, and basically on your end it feels like radio silence because I don't find out that it's been blocked until hours later. I put it up, at 11 a.m. and then, I'm not at my computer for most of the day. 3 o'clock, school gets out. I got my daughter here. My phone notifications, I don't even have them turned on. Um, so I don't hear about it until hours later, and you guys are, if you're waiting at 11, I have a schedule. If you guys are waiting for the video to come out and it's just not there, that looks bad on me. I don't want that. And I know I hit 1,000 subscribers, so I should be getting text posts, but I don't think that putting a text post out saying, "Hey, this was blocked, sorry, no video today," looks good either. It's a little better than radio silence, but it still sucks. So, someone informed me about library.tv, which is a decentralized blockchain video hosting service, which it looks interesting. I gotta look more into it and figure out what exactly it's doing. But on the surface, it looks like a fantastic alternative. Um, and I know a lot of people use Patreon to put their blocked videos up. I guess that's something I can do. I don't know. That's just a common practice. I don't have a Patreon yet. I don't know if I'm gonna get a Patreon. I just know a lot of reaction channels go that route. So all right, I think I got all the announcements done. Thanks guys for the 1,000 again, and let's get into this Jinjer micro reaction. After every song, I'm gonna take some time to talk about it. And after I've gone through all 5 songs, then I'll talk about the album as a whole and if there's any themes or ideas that kind of go throughout the entire thing. So we will start off with track 1 called Ape. And it helps if I hit the play button. Alright, there we go. Ah, yeah. I remember this one now. There's a lot of discussion in the comments after this one about what the lyrics meant. And I'm still thinking that it's about chaos personified, looking over the creation of humans, the evolution from, whatever they came from before, the ape, and, before that. I had a couple people tell me that it was from the perspective of Mother Nature, and I can see that. I still think it's going to be, though, I think chaos fits better, because chaos fits with the idea of the music. I love that line. That's good. Really good ambience in this part. There's a pretty strong melody going on in the guitar, but there's a lot of undertones that create this ambiguity, and it lines up with, humans going on and proving themselves. And the way that humans have proved themselves over time has been violence and power. Love that fill. Just transitions into this real mellow part. I mean, right there it is. Who gave you the right to save yourself by taking life away? Yeah, I don't know if I have much to say that I didn't say last time. Um, it is a very It's a very well written song that merges the lyrical identity with the musical identity. I'm still sitting on the side of the fence that says that she is singing from the perspective of chaos, because evolution is basically the idea of chaos. Same thing with the Big Bang. All these random factors just came together and created the universe. All these random factors just happen to come together for humans to evolve from apes. Um, and Chaos looking over what she has created, humans and their strive for power and, their strive for power and the fact that they'll do whatever it takes, including killing their own race to obtain that power, and just kind of being disappointed in what she has created. And the music is chaotic in itself. We have these drastic jumps between hard and more mellow. Her voice can change from her her scream, her growl to clean, in a syllable. And it's just all this jumping back and forth. You can't really predict what's going on. The song is chaotic. Not to mention, it doesn't seem to have. Well, actually, it doesn't have um, a set progression. We don't have like a verse chorus idea. We have 5 or 6 parts that just go into each other. Nothing repeats. You can't know what's coming next on a first time listen. And there's no repetitions, no pattern, and the lack of pattern is chaos. So I mean it's just expert expert expertly. It's fantastic. It's written phenomenally. That's what I'm trying to say here. Um, there's just so much good stuff going on. The guitars are just they have this punch to them. Well, the guitar, anyways, has a punch to it. But it has either another setting or maybe he's using a different pickup. But he gets this real nice, clean melodic voice when he wants to uh, do something a little more ethereal or atmospheric. Um, the bass is just tearing it up as usual, as the bassist does in Jinjer, pulling out a lot of lead lines while the guitarist plays rhythm, and the drums are just, dude, that drummer is just phenomenal. He can get so much power behind it, but then those fills, I don't even know. And then the what it was a transition. I want to say like the bridge, but it's not the bridge. You can't really use that terminology. Um, but there's a instrumental part in the middle where the drummer's just throwing down blast beats, and he ends the section with this real quick fill going down the drum set, and I mean it's just good stuff everywhere. That song, I'm pretty sure that was the first song I reacted to them, and oh, you know what? I did Pisces first, didn't I? Ape must have been the second one then. And yeah, it's still it's still an amazing song. So now let's get some dreadful moments going. Track number 2. What is that, 9/8? 7/8? There's one extra beat either missing or being added. They do a good job of putting an accent down where the bar or idea starts. Even though it feels kind of timeless, they make sure you know where one is, where the downbeat is. Interesting scream layering. Yeah. This song's time is all over the place. Interesting. It's almost dissonant, her singing. Right? Ooh, I like that. The singing rhythm is lined up with the bass kicks. Synergy between two instruments. Oh, bassist is in there too. All right. That that is how you play Anguish. Just a flurry of sound from every instrument. Yeah, you heard that. That was her low growl. She pulled into a higher fry. Um, that is almost clear evidence that she's not growling. Because there was no break. That was a clean slide. I still have no idea what she's doing. I like that guitar riff. Same lyrics, but scream this time.
Memories of fear and dread.
Alright, so that was what I've listened to, which this would be the fourth Jinjer song I've heard. They're most technical as far as time goes. That opening section, like I said, I had no idea where one was, other than the fact that the both guitars and the drum played a very accented note on the downbeat of, I don't know, it was the end of a phrase, so it might have been 4 bars. But in those 4 bars, I had no idea what was going on. I could just tell when the rhythm restarted itself. Which, like I said, is it's pretty cool to do. I mean, you can definitely just play like I kind of wish that Tesseract video had gone through because this would be perfect. Um, Tesseract had a section in of Matter where I had no idea where the time was, and it just kind of took me to this other place. Just kind of transported me there, and it wasn't really about calculating the music out because I didn't really know what the music was doing, and I could just kind of fall into the journey that the music was taking me on. And that's definitely one way that you can go about writing complex temporal music. But this is another way that's a little bit more accessible where the listener might not exactly know what's going on with the time, but you're constantly giving them landmarks to kind of fall back on. Like when there's that half a beat break and then everybody comes in with a note and you're like, all right, that's where I need to start the headbang, and you can kind of get back into the groove if you get lost. And they're both viable ways to write music, and one just kind of this format just makes it a little easier on the listener to kind of stick with the music if they get lost. So that was a nice little touch there at the beginning, even though it was an intricate pattern that was going on. They still kind of let you know where you were at. They gave you some landmarks in the music. Um, the singer's just showing everything that she's got. Real nice cleans, both octaves of her growl or her scream. Even layering the screams into some really demonic stuff. Uh, I mean, the song was obviously very personable or personal. It seemed to be about some sort of abuse when she was younger. She screamed out for her mother in one of the sections, asking her to make it stop or to protect her or something along those lines. Um, and the song exited with a childhood of misery is lifelong agony or something like that. I might have those words flipped, but yeah, and there are some real strong emotional sections in that song, like the part that I pointed out where the um, drums were doing blast beats and the singer would just had this heartbreaking scream, and the guitars and bass were just going crazy. And I mean, that is the perfect auditory personification of internal agony. Just not being able to do anything and feeling trapped, but being having to be subjected to whatever trauma was the cause of this song. Just I don't know. She poured her heart out on this one, and I think we got to move on because next up we got Teacher Teacher, and I did this one rather recently, so it's pretty fresh in my mind.
Good evening, kids. Take your seats. Open up your Bibles. I'm gonna chase on survival, so keep your eyes wide open.
Good choice to keep the music simple here, so that she could kind of lay down the introduction to what the song's about.
She clapped my hand, took me and placed me in front of the class. She gave me hints, I was in glow of the mass. I'm in the middle of the holy of holies. I have no worries. I saw past the icons on the wall. I saw needles and stones. So she put a paper bag on my hand. She pointed finger at me and then she said, dear Lord, forgive me as I'm slapping this sinful child. By your head,
I love this groove. Like, even though there's a lot going on in the guitars and drums right now, you can just kind of fall into the groove and just kind of sit there and absorb it all, because it just pulls you in and says, just chill for a bit. Get a little bit of a headbang going on and just enjoy the music. And that is still such a strong hook. You don't hear that in metal very often. A really catchy chorus. That's something that you usually put towards rock or pop music. And it just stands out so strong. I love this section. That chorus stands out so strongly, juxtaposed with the heaviness of everything else. I have no idea how this guy can just drum like this all the time. My muscles hurt just thinking about it. love that gallop. Doo-ga-doo, 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 doo-ga-doo. Ooh, I didn't catch that last time. There's like a half beat shift. The singer starts her rhythm on downbeats, and after like 4 bars or so, she switches to the offbeats, and then returns back to the downbeats. 4 bars later. Now I'd have to go back and look at it and see if she changed her rhythm and delayed it, or if there was a beat removed from the music to facilitate that. But yeah, her rhythm felt different because it got shifted by half a beat. And I still think there should be a little bit more bass work here. Something like that. I mean, I think that would just sound real nice to have a nice like bass run going on here. Ooh. I don't remember that. Like that bass run right there. Something along those lines. I'm be ready for the end this time. That ending caught me off guard last time, but I know it's coming now. The amount of control that she has over her voice is just phenomenal. There it is. This is a lot like the instrumental breakdown earlier with the blast beats, but it just doesn't have the blast beats in it. In fact, everybody's playing notes at half the length. Well, I guess twice the length, half the speed. I think that's the same section though, just with longer notes in it. So that's a nice callback. Um, yeah, I mean this song's just as good as when I reacted to it earlier this month. I think just real good stuff. Another really personal song for her. Um, although when I reacted to it, I originally said that the story I got from it was entirely about her schooling and the probably going to a Catholic school of some sort with the teacher calling her to the front of the class and smacking her uh, in the name of God or something along those lines. And and then of course her closing remarks of I smile in the face of the Trinity or something like that. And to me it was very much a song about her experiences with religious schooling. But it was pointed out to me in the comments last time, and I want to push this um, to you guys. I want to amplify this guy's comment. I probably should have just went and screenshotted it and added it. Um, it should be hearted though, so it should be at the top of the comment list if you want to go back and look at the entirety of it. But the song is actually about anybody who's in a position of authority and being critical of every authority figure, regardless if it is a teacher or a politician or a pope, that all of the teachers, all of the people in a position to teach or in a position uh, to authorize things could be a fool, and they could make a fool of you. It's not just her experience. She's extrapolating her ideas and her experiences to a broader concept. Um, and I didn't really catch that on my first listen, but with that in mind, listening to it again, um, the second verse really amplifies a lot of that, and it personifies the ideas of expanding her childhood experience with these nuns and sisters, her teachers in a Catholic school, um, and applying that to the real world and, who she is as an adult and how she sees the world as an adult. So, yeah, like I said, that's more of a paraphrasing of the person's comment. If you want to go read it, it is hearted, so it should be at the top of the comment list on the Jinjer teacher reaction. Um, it was written a lot better than what I just said. I mean, like I said, I was just kind of paraphrasing it from memory, but yeah, yeah, excellent analysis of the lyrics. Moving on to the, why can't I think of this word? Next to last, penultimate. There we go. The penultimate song called Perennial. Lots of p-p-p's going on. Another one starting out a bit slower. Kind of like Dreadful Memories, but with the spoken word of teacher, teacher. It's kind of interesting to see these ideas being repeated throughout the album. All right, let's thrash it up a bit. Lots of snare. That's not something I've seen a lot, heard a lot in this album. Ooh, that groove. Oh, slowing it down a little bit just for that one bar. All right. Movement. Stand still for a bit. Movement. Yeah. There's that slowing it down again for the transition into repeating the musical idea. I love that hi-hat stomping. I love it when this bassist just takes the lead. He has such a good tone on that instrument. Even better is they're kind of trading back and forth.
destruction in the name of total reconstruction. My biggest source of confusion.
Very interesting wordplay. With the suffix shun on all of these words. And not really wordplay, just really masterful use of the English language. I like that octave harmony. That was a long time to hold a chest note. I don't think it started chest, it was kind of like a chest head, but then she brought it down into chest and just, wow. Just raw power right here. All right. Dang, just lots of real good stuff going on there. Um, a lot of dichotomy though. Uh, I mentioned might have been the second verse I mentioned this. I think it was a verse. The second clean part though, where they did 4 bars of moving and then they held out a note for 4 bars, and then 4 bars of moving and then they held out a note for 4 bars. There at the end, I guess it would have been the bridge. It was the lead up to the outro. Um, you had the guitar and the bass trading off 4 bars each, kind of passing the melody between them. Um, there is the ideas. The dichotomy was also used in her singing, where she would go from this really deep growl to, really powerful, to a more of a meek, vulnerable, clean. Um, and just a lot of the same ideas that I heard in Pisces, which was also about duality. Um, Basically, the strong part and the vulnerable part. And in a lot of ways, this feels like a follow up to Pisces thematically. Um, Even the lyrics, what I caught were about, again, 2 parts of the singer. Um, I don't know if it's the same idea as Pisces, where it's the strong exterior with the vulnerable inside. But again, though, there's a dichotomy in the singer, and it's about there's ideas of rebirth and metamorphosis that the slow part, the bridge, the lead up to the outro kind of area. She mentioned that we're not dead. She says we multiple. She's the plural. She's talking about the 2 parts of herself, I would assume. She says we're not dead. We're just enjoying coma, and coma is a lengthy sleep. And sleep is often seen as a transition between states. We sleep to change the day, so to speak. Um, Death is the long sleep. It is where we, go from this plane to the next plane or whatever, you believe in, from this state to the next state. Sleep is often seen as the transient uh, action. Um, and the outro says something along the lines of, trying to remember the exact word. Something about from this human will rise. trying. I've lost it, but there is an idea of, becoming something else. The metamorphosis. I'd have to go back through it again and pull apart. Well, I don't necessarily have to go through it again. I need to pull up the lyrics. But I do believe that this song is about metamorphosis, becoming the next stage of herself. Um, so aside from Ape, then Ape is kind of a larger scale song looking at humanity as a whole. Um, but Dreadful Moments is very personal. Perennials appears to be pretty personal. Teacher starts out personal and kind of evolves into something larger, where she takes her experiences and her pain and applies it to the larger world and has a message for the listeners. Um, so I don't know. Let's see where Micro goes. For the most part, though, this album seems to be very personal. Same with Pisces. So it's pretty cool to see metal be about someone and not something. A lot of metal songs are about something, and I don't know if it's because metal is supposed to be this heavy thing and it's not supposed to be emotional. It's just you're angry at something and that's the only emotion you can have. You can't be vulnerable by being a metalhead. I don't know if some of that ties into it, but a lot of metal is about things and not about people. um Pop is usually where you see the songs about the artist, about the singer, where they pull from their own experiences. So it's really cool to see these ideas of creating songs about yourself in metal. These personal songs. All right, so the final song is Micro. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, my headphone turned off. 1 second. I gotta restart the song. All right, we got a nice 3/4 groove going on here, but it's not a rhythm written in 3/4. It feels like there's a very abrupt end at the end of the 4 bar phrase. All right. So far we just have the bass and not even a full drum. It would be a drum that you play with fingers, um, and your hands, not a traditional like a drum kit. And I mean, it could be literally any type. It could be just a hollow box that he's hitting his fingers against. I love this riff. There's a lot of longing in it and a lot of time to breathe. Like there's something more out there to the riff, but he just doesn't know what it is, so he just repeats himself. That's Oh, okay, so it's an instrumental outro. So that might be why it hasn't been requested. Um yeah, that song has a lot of introspection in the bass line. There's a lot of longing for something more that just doesn't come. Um like I said, even the main riff feels abrupt. There's a stark ending where I would expect at least the note held out another beat or two, and it just stops and repeats itself a lot earlier than I would expect. And there's just a lot of repetition, and it feels like, to me, this song is the idea of running in circles and knowing that there's something more than the circle track you're on, but not knowing what that something more is and not knowing how to get to it. Um, Basically, uh, the longing the desire to have your life mean something more, or for your life to be something more, but not being able to obtain whatever that extra oomph is, you know. Um, Maybe, you know, it's for some people that's the 9 to 5. You get up, you do your work day grind, and you come home and you catch up on Netflix and eat, and you repeat that day in day out. And obviously that can't be all that life is, but you can't see your life being anything else. Maybe because you're living paycheck to paycheck and you can't afford to, you know, even try something else. You know, there just isn't time or money for it. You know, it could that feeling of being trapped but wanting more can apply to a lot of people for different reasons. You know, you could be stuck in a relationship, you could be stuck in a dead end job, you could be, you know, all sorts of things. And you know, there's something more out there, but you can't obtain it. And that's kind of what I get from this song. Um, it's just a lot of repetition and lack of finality. Even the ending to the song, let me pull that up real quick. It's not even a true ending. That ending has actually been used in the middle of the song before it went to uh that right there's the end of the song. So it's not even like it has a unique ending to it. It has an ending that's already been used before. And it actually goes into something else here. It'll be right after this repetition, this loop. And it's that nice bass run. Maybe I missed it. Right here. So the thing is that it's not a unique ending. There's nothing definitive about it. They could have continued the song infinitely, and there would be no ending. It would be the same loops over and over and over, with no defined beginning or end. And that is kind of how I feel the song is. It's about, you know, you know, being lost in a race that you don't remember starting and you don't see a finish to, and you're not enjoying the race. So, interesting. Uh, Overall, I mean, this is a good album, especially for being an EP. Ape is just a phenomenal intro to the album. Just brings you in real heavy. Says, you know, this is what we're about. We can be like this loud, aggressive band when we want to. We got these nice transitions. You know, listen to the tone. Listen to my ability to switch between growling and singing. Um, and it's just a really pessimistic song about being disappointed in what you've created. We move on to Dreadful Moments, which is a heartbreaking song about, you know, a terrible time when she was a child and some of the abuse that she endured, you know, while she was a kid. And, you know, crying out for her mom to end the suffering. So, and again, it's just another song that bounces between the aggression and the softer singing. Just Teacher does this. Actually, here's okay. So this is a pretty good trend. All of these songs bounce between two states. Every single one of except for Micro. But hear me out here. Ape, Dreadful Moment, Teacher, and Perennial all have a sense of duality in them. And I think that kind of comes with the genre because the band is so versatile. So maybe I'm reading a bit too into it. But Ape has a sense of awe at the progression of, Earth's creatures, but then also disappointment at what Earth's creatures have done with their progression. Um, Dreadful Moments has the fear and vulnerability of the child with the harsh screaming that I'm not sure is it could be an internal dialogue of just wanting to get out, but depending on the lyrics, I'd have to see what they were. It could also be uh, whoever her abuser was, and that could be the voice that she's given them. Teacher, teacher jumps back and forth between, the fear of being humiliated at school and, being prosecuted by, uh, not prosecuted is not a good word, just, we're going to stick with humiliated then, um, by her teachers, and then the pride that she has in who she is and showing the world or showing whoever's going to listen to her that you don't have to listen to authority. You can do what you want to do and build and walk your own path. And then perennial is the vulnerability and the aggression and a metamorphosis maybe between the two. Instead of having two sides of the coin, she merges them into a single person. Hmm. Like I said, I have to go back and look at the lyrics, but that could be a little bit of a possibility. But it's all about these two sides of the coin. But it's always about being stuck with these two sides. Aside from my proposed idea that perennial might be about joining them, but there's always these two sides. There's the vulnerable and the vulnerable that can see the good in things, and then there's the harsh that seems to be more pessimistic about things. Um, and I think that kind of lines up with her song Pisces, in that she has these two forms. And the final track, Micro, kind of ties all this together that although she wants to kind of have a single identity, she can't escape. Some of this stuff that's going on. She can't escape the fact that she has these two sides. Um, I don't know. I might be reaching a little bit here. We're pulling up on an hour long on this video though, and I think I've kind of exhausted what I can say about this album so far. I am loving it. I am so glad I purchased this. Um, I will definitely be picking up uh more of this. Buying CDs is a little expensive, so I don't know how quickly I will be able to pick up the discography, but I do want to listen to more Jinjer. There are tons of recommendations. I'm pretty sure I've been recommended every song that they own or every song that they've made. Um, I will probably be doing more Ginger in the future. I mean, if this album's any indication of what they've done or what they're going to do, I know they have a new album that came out after this one called Macro. Uh, Judgment and Punishment has been requested for me to react to, so I might get around to that. Just to kind of see where the band has gone since this album. I also want to see where they came from, though. Pisces was an interesting introduction, but it's also an outlier compared to what I've listened to here on Micro. So, all right, I will be back Monday, assuming that video does not get blocked. And until then, you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you in a couple of days.